Hello, I'm Angela Couch
And I'm Kristen Stewart with
Parkside Realty Group.
We're your dynamic duo with a resource of information for you. And today's topic is you're under contract.
Congratulations.
So we wanted to go through the steps around once you have a contract, what to expect, things to work through and go over. Obviously, your agent will be with you on this and be able to help you work through these things, but knowing is also helpful so that you can be aware of the steps and follow along and make sure that everything is happening in a space that you feel comfortable.
Exactly. One of the first things that's going to come up is the deposit. Is it going to be 3-day or 5-day deposit? The nice thing about the deposit is it reassures the seller that the buyer is serious, and it locks in the contract even a little bit more so than just the signatures. They put a little money on the line and they're ready to move forward.
Right. And after your deposits, you have your inspection, which is also a timeline contingent item. You might have somewhere between 7 and 15 days to have the inspection done and have the report back and explain or ask for any items on the report that are concerning for the buyer. As the seller, you want to give the buyer space to have this inspection, let them dream about the house and picture the space as their own, and they've paid for the inspection.
Yes. It's very nice to allow the buyer to go in with their inspector, feel comfortable about what the inspector finds, discussing those, going over things, and just exploring the home the way they need to. Sometimes when the sellers are there, it's a little uncomfortable and it can put a little stress on the situation. So it's much easier to just give the space and let everybody do what they need to do in order to get the correct evaluations and be able to talk over everything as the inspection's going. And then after that, the report will get into the buyers, they'll review it. And if there's anything that's kind of safety issues or normally stuff that'll come up, electrical, plumbing, roof, mold, roof leaks, anything of those natures that are kind of more serious than the cosmetic may put you back into renegotiations on those terms, which can often turn into different types of ways of solving that.
Right. Let your agent represent you, go to the inspection, and be there on your behalf to make sure things flow. And then when you get the report back, discuss the items that are important. You know, the buyer's going to give you items that are important for them that they be addressed or fixed, or monetary value be given to them so that they can fix it. Angela and I are very strong on if it's a safety item, the fire alarms are too old or the windows don't open and stay open, there are going to be problems whether it's this buyer or the next buyer or the next buyer. So if you're going to have to address it, you might as well address it now and have it dealt with. And like I said, the buyer might ask for it in terms of, we want you to fix it, or we want you to have someone fix it, or
licensed insured doing fix. They might be able to negotiate compensations instead, where they hire their own person to take care of it.
Do they want money instead of you fixing it or having to deal with it? Do they want money to do it themselves? The other thing that Angela and I encourage is if you have things like washer and dryer or a generator, and maybe you could leave that instead of fixing things, and that's a monetary gift in exchange.
Now there are more negotiating items that can be used.
And the next stage of that process is an appraisal. An appraisal will come out. They spend much less time at the house than an inspector. An inspection can run from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, depending on size. Do you have a pool and those sorts of things? An appraiser might be in the house for 10-15 minutes. They review the house, look over everything, take pictures. For each specific lender, they need to take pictures of different things, but they're in and out very quickly. They do that report, and then that gets given to the buyer or buyer's agent. And a lot of times, if it's good, there's just a thumbs up. They don't really give an amount. If it's under...
Right. Then other issues that can happen is if the appraisal is under the loan contract approved sale price, it can create another point of renegotiations. The bank is only going to lend towards the home. If it over appraises, they're not going to, if it under appraises, they are not going to lend more money than that. And then that buyer will have to consider whether they're going to bring up the cash difference or renegotiate the terms to the accepted appraisal.
Right. And that's what you sit down with your agent and discuss. What are your options? Because it's important through each stage that you discuss your options and what can be negotiated with a thing like something like a VA, they may not have any extra cash to bring to the table. So then it becomes, do you want the sale to move forward?
And there's a lot of money that they have to come up with at closing. So especially under a finance situation. So it could tap out their funds and then just put you in a situation where you have to renegotiate terms.
Right. And then after you've done inspection and you've done appraisal, you would get things like your conditional approval for the buyer's loan, where they only need a few items to clear the loan and get clear to close and ready for closing day. The title commitment. Very seldom are there ever issues on title where there is a cloud on it, but your title agents will help you clear those titles.
So they'll be done before closing.
Right, and they'll just work with you on the things they need to make sure that clear title, insurable clear title, is passed to the buyer for them to then do later on when they process and sell the house. The other items would be contingency on the sale of buyer's home. Is it flowing, and is their contract flowing like yours and along the same lines?
How are they moving through all their steps and procedures, inspections, appraisals, any glitches within their closing dates, any delays? You want to make sure that you're supervising that as well to make sure everything's moving towards close.
Right. And then you've reached closing day, which is exciting and stressful because you've been moving and packing, and there's lots of things that can happen around closing day that are helpful for you. Do you want to sign early? Go to your title office, sign. That way when you've packed your truck on the day, you just go ahead and roll out and you go to your next location.
Do you not live local? You might need to have it mailed to you, and title companies will overnight it. You'll need to take it to a notary and return it, but it's usually extremely quickly done.
And very easy, and they outline all the steps, so it's not stressful. And then there's also, you can sign in person at the office. Makes it nice and easy.
How would you like the funds sent to you?
Right.
Do you want them wired? Do you want a check? There's a couple things to look out for whenever you have an agent and you have a title company that you're working with. If there's any changes that come in your email that are not the same as the communications with the title company or your agent, contact your agent immediately.
Right.
Do not contact whoever's sending you that. It would probably be a random person that's somebody you don't know. It's best to contact your agent, say, I received this and it's a little suspicious, can you confirm?
Right. Most title companies will never change major items, wire instructions, or any of the such over email. So if ever you have received something that does change a major factor, Google the company, look up the number, and call from there. Don't call from the email because, again, it could have come from an outside source. So you always want to be secure.
And you would have already been in contact with title. They would have been speaking with you already, so you would already know who the assigned agents are. It's not going to be a random somebody that just pops up and a whole new email and stating, oh, you're going to wire here. Those are the things to look out for. But your agent is really there for you, so use them.
Right. And when you decide on a wire or an official check, things to keep in mind is a wire is usually available fairly immediately that day or the next day, depending on the Fed cutoff timeline. But your official checks, there's a lot of fraudulent activity around official checks across the board. So a lot of banks will hold it, and depending on the size, they might hold it up to 14 days.
Yeah, they'll process it in a much slower process way.
Right.
For sure.
So this should help clear up what to expect when you're under contract and you're moving through those steps. But we hope if you have questions or other topics you want to hear from us on, you'll let us know.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.